Have you ever scrolled through your feed, seen a headline that twisted your stomach into knots, and wondered if what you're reading is shaping your thoughts more than you realize? Imagine a world where the stories we consume aren't just information, but subtle architects of our reality, quietly guiding our opinions without us even noticing. Does that sound familiar or perhaps a bit unsettling? Media manipulation, at its core, is the intentional crafting of information to influence how we perceive events, ideas, or people, often through selective presentation, emotional framing, or strategic omission, all while appearing as straightforward reporting or entertainment. It's not about outright lies, but about nudging our understanding in a particular direction, like a gentle current that carries a boat off course over time. Think of it as the art of suggestion hidden in plain sight, where the messenger controls the message to evoke specific responses, whether in news articles, social posts, or advertisements. To understand why this works so effectively, we turn to the inner workings of the human mind, where cognitive shortcuts and emotional triggers play starring roles. Confirmation bias, for instance, draws us toward information that aligns with what we already believe, making us more receptive to narratives that feel validating, even if they're skewed. Emotions amplify this too. A story laced with fear or anger can bypass irrational filters, activating the amygdala and prompting quick, instinctive reactions rather than thoughtful analysis. Our sense of identity ties into this too. When media portrays groups or ideas as extensions of who we are, it fosters a deep-seated loyalty, turning information into a badge of belonging that we're reluctant to question. Fear, in particular, is a powerful lever as it heightens our vigilance and makes us cling to sources that promise safety or clarity in uncertain times. And the need for belonging weaves through it all, encouraging us to echo the views of our social circles, amplified by algorithms that curate content to keep us engaged within familiar bubbles. These mechanisms aren't flaws, they're evolutionary adaptations that once helped us navigate complex social environments. But in today's information-saturated world, they become vulnerabilities that manipulators, whether consciously or not, can exploit. Consider an everyday scenario. During a product launch, an advertisement doesn't just list features, it tells a story of a happier life, tapping into our desire for improvement and evoking emotions of aspiration or inadequacy, leading us to associate the item with personal fulfillment rather than evaluating it objectively. Or picture a social media thread where a viral post highlights one side of a community event, framing participants in a light that resonates with viewers' existing sentiments, sparking shares and discussions that reinforce the initial slant without exploring the fuller picture. In daily life, this shows up in conversations too. Think of how a rumor about a colleague spreads in an office, colored by the teller's perspective, influencing team dynamics through subtle shifts in perception rather than facts alone. Even in broader contexts, like coverage of environmental changes, stories might emphasize dramatic visuals over nuanced data, stirring collective concern that motivates action but also risks oversimplifying complex issues. These examples illustrate how manipulation isn't confined to grand schemes, it's woven into the fabric of our interactions, making it relatable and pervasive. Yet one might assume that sharper minds are immune. After all, intelligence often equips us with tools for critical thinking and discernment. However, intelligent individuals can be just as susceptible, if not more so, because their confidence in their reasoning might lead them to overlook biases or dismiss alternative viewpoints prematurely. Over-reliance on logic can blind them to emotional undercurrents, and their curiosity might draw them deeper into echo chambers disguised as intellectual discourse. Moreover, the sheer volume of information demands quick judgments, and even the brightest among us fall back on heuristics when time is short, allowing manipulated narratives to slip through unchallenged. Studies in cognitive psychology reveal that higher intelligence correlates with more elaborate rationalizations for preferred beliefs, turning potential safeguards into reinforcements for manipulation. This isn't a judgment on intellect, it's a reminder of our shared humanity, where no one is entirely above the fray. So, what happens when we become aware of these patterns? Awareness itself acts as a quiet counterbalance, inviting us to pause amid the flow of information and reflect on the emotions it stirs or the assumptions it reinforces. By recognizing the role of bias in our reactions, we open space for curiosity about multiple angles, fostering a habit of gentle inquiry that naturally dilutes the grip of one-sided narratives. This shift doesn't require rigid rules, it's more like turning on a light in a dim room, revealing details we might have missed and allowing our perspectives to evolve organically. In the end, as we navigate this vast sea of stories, one question lingers. How might our world change if we approached each piece of media not as absolute truth, but as a single thread in a larger tapestry, woven with intention yet open to reinterpretation? It's a thought that invites us to linger, pondering the subtle forces at play in our minds and the choices they inspire, leaving us with a sense of quiet empowerment in an ever-connected age.